Hello, it's me coming to you from my bathroom once again. I feel like I only ever film in here anymore. But I thought it would be fun for me to take you guys along the process of me doing my own hair. I did this a couple months back when I was just doing tapes on myself when my hair was pink. I've been giving it a break from color and it's been amazing. But today I'm gonna do just a few highlights on myself, mainly just a money piece, maybe a few throughout here because it's been over 3 months since I bleached my hair. I've just been maintaining it with like a root toner and purple shampoo ever since I got rid of the pink. So I am excited because I'm going to be attempting this by myself and then putting my extensions in, and I just thought it would be fun to show you guys how I do this. So if you're interested in watching this, stay tuned. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is I am going to be highlighting a few pieces in my hair. I have mixed up Blonde Me with 7 Volume and Olaplex because I literally do not want to fray my hair off. I don't wanna do anything bad to it. Probably shouldn't even been doing this, but honestly, it's not like I'm doing a full head. I am just doing a few pieces to brighten me up a little bit. So that's what I'm doing to keep it protected and safe. And then, well, I'm just gonna put those foils in, and then while it's processing, I'm gonna remove my tape-ins. Okay. I just did one foil just to make sure that I can like actually do this on myself before I start filming it. And it's definitely hard. I have not foiled my own hair since like hair school. I used to in hair school do my own to practice all the time. And I feel like it's actually what kind of helped me learn a lot, but haven't done it since then. But what I'm gonna be doing is just kind of taking a few pieces around my face. I'm gonna do a bit of like a thicker weave pattern just because I kind of want there to be like variation in dimension because I'm still gonna have a rooted look. So I'm gonna do that. So I just kind of did my weave pattern. Now I'm gonna put my foil in. It's really important when you're doing this yourself to hold really tight tension. And then saturation is always key when it comes to blonding. I'm gonna fold it up once halfway, fold it up again, extending over the foil, lifting this up to tighten that little lip. That's super important so it doesn't bleed. And then I'm gonna fold my sides in. If you guys have watched any of my foiling videos, you know I normally don't do that on every foil. I usually fold in the sides after, but since I'm gonna be working around my own hair, I feel like it'll be a little easier to do it as I go. So I'm just kind of working up on an angle right here. Right now I'm doing my bang area. Those are a little bit shorter. And then I'm gonna work into the interior of my hair a little more. But I'm mainly kind of just focusing around my face. Also, I apologize for how my voice sounds. I've been sick the last few days. I feel like everyone's sick right now. It's just kind of going around. I don't know if it's COVID. I haven't gotten tested. I feel like it's just a cold though, but I could be wrong, but I'm just kind of staying home to be safe. I've been home for a few days, but figured there's no better time than just being stuck at home to do your own hair, right? Okay, 3 foils down. I'm gonna mimic that on this side, and then I'm gonna throw a few throughout the top probably. Okay, so I ended up doing the money piece on this side, and then I ended up just doing a few foils over here, and I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. So I'm just kind of like taking small sections, and I'm actually just continuing that like chunkier weave, I guess, just so that I can still have dimension and it doesn't just blend in. And seriously, this is so much harder than it looks. And I am not making this video so that those of you at home who don't do hair think you can do your own hair, because I do hair and this is still hard on myself. It's just how it is. I just thought it would be a fun video to make. I think the hardest thing is gonna be the back of my head. I'm trying to get like as much from the back as I can on the sides because it's a little easier to see. Okay, you guys, so this is all done. I did just like 3 or 4 foils in the back, and that was nearly impossible, so I didn't film it because I really don't know how good I did. But while those are sitting, I just went through and sprayed all of my tape-ins with the takedown remover from Jessi Styles. And with our remover, the longer it sits, the better it gets. So basically you can go through and saturate all your tape-ins, and then you can just go one by one and start releasing them. And by the time you get to the very last one, since it's been sitting for a while, they just come out so nice. You can see I'm just kind of taking them out and they're coming out really smooth. We formulated our remover and tape to go hand in hand together, and they work so well together, so you never have like issues with your hair being sticky, your hands being sticky. They just come out really nicely. So if you haven't tried it yet, I will link it below because it's amazing. All right, you guys, I am gonna be doing just a couple foils around my face for some face framing. And I'm gonna take kind of bigger sections and just do a slice and just kind of feather it on. So what I'm actually gonna do is take a piece of foil and I'm gonna paint lightener on it this way. Then I'm going to place that foil right here on an angle, stick it where I want it, and then I'm going to just feather that lightener. So now it's getting it saturated really well on top and bottom. And then I'm just gonna kind of feather it into the root area. I don't need this to be super bright, but I just kind of have like a warm band I'm trying to kick out right there. And I'm just gonna let this do its job. And then I'm gonna do that same thing one more time. And I know my hair around here is a lot shorter. That is 100% my fault. It's breakage. I gotta stop going from brunette to blonde, you guys. I finally learned my lesson. But I already know I'm gonna get comments about that. And trust me, whatever you say to me, I already know. Okay, so I just coated that again. I'm gonna put it where I need it. And then I'm just gonna coat the top. Get all that hair saturated really well. Okay, so I'm just doing those two foils in the front. And then I'm just gonna do a few under here just because I still have that warm banding you can see. And that's just from being dark and then, you know, not really touching it. I just kind of did like the pink shampoo and toners, like I said. I'm just gonna do a few slices under here to brighten them up. All right, you guys, so I did two foils underneath on either side, and then what I did is I took the mixture I already had, which was the lightener and the developer with 7 volume and Olaplex, and I added a bunch of shampoo. It's the Unite shampoo, and I just kind of did like a bleach wash, and I just put those on my ends open air, just to kind of kick out some of the remaining warmth. It's not gonna do anything other than that. I'm not expecting crazy lift, but open air is gonna be a little healthier for those ends. So basically, and honestly, I should have gloves. I just didn't have any here, so don't mind me. I normally would do this with gloves. I just take a small section at a time. I'm just gonna put that bleach wash on, saturate, and then just kind of blend with my fingers like that, and then move on to the next section. The key when you're doing dropouts, whether it's open air or in a foil, is just making sure you have really small sections. I'm kind of taking bigger than I normally would just because I'm doing this to pop out the ends, but if I were doing dropouts, I'd take really small sections and then just making sure that you're saturating super well. And then blend, blend, blend into that root. And I'm not touching my natural regrowth. I don't need to bleach that, obviously. And I have quite a bit of regrowth because it's been a while. And my hair's like a level 8, so I actually really don't even need to lighten it. I just need to learn that lesson already. But I'm gonna see if you guys can, I don't even know if you can see, but I have like my natural regrowth and then I have this warm banding. And that's really just kind of what I'm trying to knock through. And then I'm gonna wash my hands immediately after because bleach does not feel good on your hands. And I know this is so unprofessional. Normally I would have gloves, I promise. Okay, so that is my hair all done. I'm gonna let it process and I'm gonna show you guys how I purple shampoo my extensions to get those ready. All right, so I'm using tape-ins and I'm doing 3 different colors. The first one is the Freddie. This is like a rooted dimensional blonde. And since I have that purple shampoo water all mixed up, all I have to do is dip the extensions in and just kind of like run them around the water. Make sure you're kind of opening them up and breaking them apart and then pulling them out, seeing what it's doing. You don't have to leave them in very long, just kind of depending on the look you're going for, how ashy you want them. I'm just doing this to cool them down a little bit. I don't need anything like super ashy because I kind of like the neutrally beigey, more of natural tones right now. So that's pretty good. You can kind of see they're ashed out, but nothing crazy. And I like to run them under regular water just to get all the purple shampoo out. And then I will put a leave-in conditioner in them before I blow dry. Okay, the next shade I have is the Mariah. This is another dimensional blonde, just a little bit darker than the Freddie, and it does not have a root. I'm all about mixing and matching colors so that we can get a really custom result. And I think I've said this in my past videos where I've done my own hair, but I usually only do all tape-ins if I am doing it myself, because tape-ins are easy to do on yourself, whereas wefts are nearly impossible. So if someone else was doing my hair, I would definitely have the Jade Tide wefts in, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. We're all so busy, it's just easier for me to do it on my own sometimes. When you're purple shampooing, dimensional colors, the darker they are, the longer it will take for them to actually, you know, get that tone that you're looking for. So you just want to kind of keep dipping. You can leave them in for like a minute if you want to, just make sure you keep an eye on them. And then if you have a more solid blonde that's lighter, that one's gonna go quicker. Okay, the third shade I'm using is the Natalie. This is a soft rooted blonde, but it's a platinum. It's the sky at the ends, if you know what that is, from our line. So it is a solid blonde. This is gonna add pops of brightness, and this will go a lot quicker since it's a lot lighter. So like one dip already, and it's like looking really good. All right, all of the hair is purple shampooed, dried, and taped, ready to go, and now I'm gonna rinse. Hello, I'm back looking like Ronald McDonald. I actually lifted pretty well. Obviously my ends that were open air are gonna be a lot warmer, and I was expecting that, but up here I lifted pretty good. So I just did this side just to make sure that like I knew exactly how I wanted to tone everything, and now I'm gonna show you guys what I did and do on this side. So I'm grabbing my front hairline, and I'm just gonna leave that out and do that very last, just like I would on a client. And then what I did was I just kind of parted my hair and then down the middle and the back. And I always start with the perimeter of the section first. And what I have mixed up here is Redken Shades EQ, 7N, 7NB, and then a little bit of 6NA to help counteract any warmth. And I am just going to go through and do a slight root shadow, just kind of lifting it up and going section by section. I did in the shower, I rinsed my foils, and then I did the Olaplex Zero treatment, and I left that on about 10 minutes. And then I put the number 3 on my mids to ends, and that is actually in my hair right now while I'm doing this treatment, or sorry, while I'm doing this root, so that I can have a treatment while I put this on, and then it's also going to create a barrier so that the root smudge doesn't drip into the blonde ends. And then I am going to tone my mids and ends as soon as this is done processing. Okay, and then I just like to comb through as soon as I apply that. And then I'm gonna do the front, and I always like to start with down here, and then I'll work my way up. So for this little face frame that I had done just like a few foils, I'm just going to slightly tap just to make sure it's blending okay, especially around the front of the hairline. And I don't really need this to be like super, super bright, but I just kind of wanted to knock the warmth out, which it did. So that was super helpful. And then I will work my way up to the bang area and do the same thing. Okay, so I'm gonna let this root sit for about 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna do the ends. Okay, you guys, the root has been sitting about 6 minutes, and I had that Olaplex on my mids to ends, and you can do one of two things in this situation. If you want your toner to take a little bit slower, you can actually tone over the Olaplex, and it just kind of slows it down and dilutes it a little bit. So if you want it to sit longer, you can do that, or you can rinse it out and then tone. I ended up, I have my root on still, but I rinsed out the Olaplex just on the mids and ends. I just kind of like dipped my hair under the faucet, and now I am toning my mids and ends first. So I'm doing this because those ends were a little more yellow like you saw, and so I'm just trying to knock out that warmth. That needs to sit a little bit longer. So I'm starting with that, and then I'll do like the brighter pieces around my face very last. And I am mixing this in with my root shadow because I do want it to be like this rooted dimensional blonde, and I want it to all blend really well. So doing this is just gonna meld those two toners together and give it a really nice transition. So I am just kind of working my way up section by section doing this. And I have mixed up Redken Shades EQ, and I did 9V, 8V, and I did equal parts of those two, and then I just did like a dab of 10 GI. So I am just going to apply this. I'm doing it with a bowl and a brush just because I am kind of going section by section. Like these front pieces I'm gonna leave out because they were a little brighter. Just doing the warmer pieces first. And then I'll go back and do the bright ones right before I want to rinse so that they don't overtone. But yes, I'm doing it with a bowl and a brush just because I am going section by section. I could still use an applicator, but I just feel like it's a little easier this way to apply it with a brush, like on your hand, when you're going section by section this way. And it's actually starting to tone pretty good. I'm so excited. You never know when you do your hair at home how it's gonna turn out, and I guess we really won't know till it's dry, but luckily I have a lot of extensions that end up being the main color, so we will see how it looks. Okay, now that I'm getting ready to almost rinse, I did the other side the same way. Now I'm just gonna go through and take those brighter pieces and tone those as well. All right, you guys, it's the next day. I curled my hair last night, you guys saw, but I wanted to just kind of wait till I was actually ready to do the after. But I love the way it turned out. I can't believe that I was able to actually like fully blonde myself on my own. But yeah, it took like 7 hours throughout the day, but I did it. And I love the extension colors together. I love that I'm a brighter blonde, but that it's like really soft and not so platinum, because honestly, platinum's out, you guys. Like the icy blonde, some people can still pull it off. Like my sister, she'll always just be that color. But I feel like as far as like what clients are wanting, warms, neutrals, beiges, those are coming back. And then also I feel like the older I'm getting, if I do platinum, it makes me look older. So this is just definitely my comfort zone color and I love it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to see more videos like this or other hair tutorials or whatever you want to see, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.